God damn it. All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Please let me know if you can hear the sound okay. I kind of cut it pretty short. Y'all doing okay? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I know I haven't been here for a couple of days. I had a job. Somebody asked me to produce some music, and so I had a deadline, and then it got close to the deadline, and I didn't have time to do everything else in my life. I had to like just stop and concentrate on doing the thing I was doing. But it's cool. It's done, and it came out well, and so here I am. Greetings to you. And we're live on YouTube, Rockin, Callin, and on Twitter. And I'm going to keep this pretty concise today. Say what? Jeez. Yemen just announced they're at war with Israel. Oh boy. Oh great. This is awesome. I heard that Turkey was threatening Israel, even though Turkey is a NATO, Turkey is a U.S. ally, or supposedly a U.S. ally, and a member of NATO. So there's that. There's lots of concerning things going on, of course. Question is whether we're going to blow ourselves up before we blow ourselves up, and hopefully none of that happen. Hopefully none of those things happen at all. But it's not looking great, you know. It's not looking good. I feel like we're on some levels. People are just kind of breathlessly like talking about how we're rushing towards World War III, right? And I know there's quite a few people out there that are like, hey, I wonder if there's a way that we could stop this or avert this. But mostly people are like, looks like we're heading towards the apocalypse. You know, looks like that's what they're driving us to. And we're just going to be witness to it? Is that what we're going to do? Are we going to stop it? Are we going to cease and desist, you know, being a part of the system that supports this? I have all these questions. How are we doing on Twitter? We got any, well, hold on. Maybe I'll bring you this link since it's here. Oh, they actually have, for a second there, it had X in the URL. I'm gonna, Scott Andrews asks, is there a book called Apocalypse for Dummies? Yeah, I mean, and there's videos of Netanyahu saying this is the word, what is it? I forget what it's called. He's referring to some biblical prophecy, something about Ishmael. I'm going to have to go find the actual link. Basically saying we're fulfilling some kind of prophecy. Do we have to? Is this necessary? Someone else asked how many. Where was it? Who was it? Someone asked how many body parts it takes, to cover a place to make it a holy land, right? Do we have sound on this? Anyway, so this is it. Yemen commits to launching ballistic missiles, drones, winged munitions at various Israeli targets with occupied Palestine until the Israeli genocide against the people of Gaza ceases. Wow. Well.
بالصواريخ والطائرات المسيرة حتى يتوقف العدوان الإسرائيلي.
It is looking quite biblical, right? I mean, I guess if you follow that stuff, this is kind of tracking. It doesn't have to, though. It really doesn't have to. Fulfilling the prophecy of the prophet. Isaiah. Did I say Ishmael? Isaiah, yes. Thank you, Obsolete Optics. The mic is. Are we getting a crackle, guys, on the mic? Let me know if it's somebody other than G. I can't hear anything, of course, as usual. If I could hear something, then I could respond to it. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Aha, check. Ha, check. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Hopefully that's better. I'm still kind of baffled. Scott Andrews says, my Christian cousins think this is all foretold. I think prophecies tend to be self-fulfilling. Yeah, so prophecies tend to be self-fulfilling if you keep speaking them into existence. Right? People do self-fulfilling prophecies with their self all the time. I don't want to go off. I have a lot of things to cover, so I'm not going to go off too far down this road. But what I wanted to say was people do this all the time, and you can see it happening. It's like if you keep speaking things into existence, then they they come to fruition, right? The things you keep saying are happening or are going to happen. And I guess that's what I was trying to say a few minutes ago when I was saying I'm just watching everybody say like, well, this is what they're going to do. They're going to, here we go into World War III. Here we go with the ethnic cleansing of Gaza. Here we go with the ramping up of war. Here we are marching into World War III. It's just like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Everyone, even the people that are afraid of it or gassed, are kind of speaking it into, like, they're like, this is it. Here we go. This is what's happening. Like, well, you could say no. You could say no. You could say, we're not doing this. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this with you. You could actually, you could strike on your friends in the military, right? You say, like, I ain't talking to you unless you stand down, put your, you're in the military and you're supporting this, whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could actually end really soon. If the people of Israel, and there are a lot of people in Israel who are against this, if the people of Israel just said, like, you're not, you're part of this thing, nah, you're not part of my life. I'm done with you. Bye. We're not voting. We're not partaking in this. We're not going to support you. We're not doing this in any way, shape, or form. And I know there's that whole, like, support the troops thing was propaganda in order to not have what happened in Vietnam during Vietnam again, right? Vietnam was a very rocky, rough time for the country, right? And it was a rough time for the people in power, because they're like, oh, geez, like, people really aren't supporting this. And it went as far as to say the people were, yes, there was a draft at the time, so people didn't have a choice about going to war. But it was, people were so against it that they were like, if you don't, you're going willingly to this, like, we don't support you. Like, if you're part of the military infrastructure in any way, shape, or form, I don't support you. I ain't talking to you. I'm not with you. You're not my friend. You're not in my life. Goodbye. You want to keep doing this? You want to go full on war? Like, I'm not with you. I don't know. It's just an idea. It's one thing that people could do. You could really, like, take the non-support to another level instead of just, like, going out in the street and going, like, I don't like this. I mean, that's a good thing to do. You should do that. You should go out in the street and go, I don't like this. But you should also just say, like, I don't support anybody, any corporation. I'm not going to support you with my dollars. I'm not going to support you personally. I'm not going to support you, I don't know. There's ways to organize yourself, right? In order to get the things that you want. And if you don't want war, a good thing to do is organize yourself in a way that doesn't make it very easy for people to get to do this. But they're just marching. The powers that be are just going in on this because everybody's like, well, okay, I guess that's what's happening. I don't know. It doesn't have to be what's happening. It doesn't have to be at all what's happening. Here I am. Okay. I'm going to go. I don't know how much I'm going to cover today, guys, because I've been gone for 3 days, and then my list of things to cover is just so long. It's like 3 or 4 days worth of news and articles, and I'm just trying to play a little catch up because I haven't been here for a while. So I'm doing my best. But what was I going to say? I did actually have a point I wanted to make, or something I wanted to bring up, was that I was listening in on a conversation that I was very interested in. I don't know if, maybe it's rude to listen in on people's conversation, but it was between two Jewish people, oddly enough from San Francisco, which is, San Francisco woke capital of the world. Supposedly lefty woke capital of the world. Anyways, the conversation was interesting because it was a woman, Jewish woman, who was speaking mostly prominently on this issue. And she was like, I'm disturbed by the reaction of the left to this thing. She went on to say, basically, she's like, I'm a Jew. I am in no way oppressed. I'm not oppressed. I am privileged. We have a lot of power. She was like, Jews have a lot of power. We are privileged AF. I'm not oppressed. There's no, nobody's oppressing me. Nobody's coming to get me. And that's kind of like, that's not happening in the world anymore. Like it was, and this is, anyways, I get the feeling that even among many Jewish people, this is just not thinking something they're supporting. So there's a very deep rift. You had Seth Rogen on the Mark Maron show saying like, I'm afraid of Jews. Whoa. Right? There's a lot of non-support for this. I keep saying this every show now. I'm like, I'm amazed, aghast, bewildered. I'm not aghast as in like, oh my God. Let me find a different word. Surprised, in a good way. But I am amazed on some levels at like the level of non-support for this. So let's get that level of non-support. Let's ramp it up. I even saw that Elon Musk is providing Starlink to help Palestinians. Did I see that? Did I see that correctly? Sorry for this is really annoying because I'm getting interference also from my phone. Jesus. Israel cuts all ties with Elon Musk's Starlink. So they're pissed because Elon Musk, you have the UN Secretary General coming out and saying like, nah, this isn't cool. He was saying he was going to provide connectivity support to internationally recognized organizations in Gaza. Anyways, other people are saying don't trust this, blah, blah, blah. And he was talking about aid groups in Palestine, aid groups, Doctors Without Borders, etc. But there's a split with Israel and Elon Musk. There's a split with Israel and the UN Director General. I mean, that's pretty major, right? There still is censorship on X, but there's a lot less, so that's good. I don't even post anything on FB. I don't even bother. FB doesn't like me, and they don't like me talking. If I post things that are political on Facebook, they take my visibility to like 0 really quick. So like I don't even post anything because it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see it, and then it just screws up all my other posts. I don't even bother. And as far as Instagram goes, I'm not really sure. I know that Instagram censors things too, but I don't know. I see slightly more political stuff on Instagram than I do on Facebook. Anyways, one other thing we're going to talk about all kinds of things. We're going to talk about some climate stuff. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is anybody watching on Twitter? You know, it's funny. Okay, so we were just talking about censorship on Twitter. And I was talking about how I was a bit shadow banned on Twitter. So two streams ago, my Twitter stream got like more views than ever, like 3 times the views than it usually does. I mean, a lot more views, right? So usually I'll get, I don't know, I'm just getting a handful of views. kind of everywhere these days. I'm getting a handful of views, but so usually I get it like, I don't know, 18, 15, 16, 18 streams on Twitter on my videos. And a couple of videos ago, I had like 50. I had a bunch of viewers and way more interaction with the viewers. And I was like, wow, okay, cool. Something's happening. And then my very next stream got squashed to like 8 views. So I think they see, this is what happens all the time. Right, Judy Truitt. I hardly see Kevin on Twitter, even though I'm subscribed. Right, nobody sees my posts because I'm shadow banned. AF. I'm straight up shadow banned. Nobody sees my posts. So I'm starting to get views on my live videos on Twitter. And then one day, all of a sudden, I had like a bunch more views and a bunch more interaction with the video. And then my very next video went down to like, half of what I usually get. They just, I don't know. They just saw that I was getting a little attention. They're like, we're going to squash this. We're going to squash this. So that's what's happening in general in my world. But if you are watching on Twitter, share it, repost it, whatever. All right. From Ben C. Climate scientists admit the carbon budget to avoid catastrophic global warming is gone. Well, yeah. The 1.5C budget is basically gone. Climate change, well, it's because we are at 1.5C. So you can't have a budget. So a budget, a 1.5C budget means how much carbon do you have left to burn before you hit 1.5C? Well, we hit 1.5C, so that means it's gone. Sorry to laugh. Climate change is one compounding factor in extinction catastrophe. The data are rock solid. We're in a rapid extinction crisis. Only immediate emergency economic system change might limit the doom. I repeat myself every single day about this. So I don't know what else to say. Climate scientists now say to avoid 2C, today's extinction economy should reduce emissions to 0 within 11 or 12 years. Guys, we have 10 more years, right? That's the thing that people harp on. Well, we have 10 years to save the planet. 10 years. Half of Earth's living coral has been destroyed by the industrial economy over the last 70 years. We can anticipate the end of organized human society as we know it at 1.75 or 2.25. Wait, if we're at 1.5, 1.75 is not far away. Think about that. I mean, how long does it take us to reach 1.75 if we're at 1.5 and things are increasingly exponential? I'm getting like a bunch of this stupid phone interference. It only happens once in a while, which is really weird. And I'm not sure how to stop it. Sorry, calling people if you're getting a bunch of if it's a bit jumbled, I apologize. Okay. Oh, well, I thought maybe that worked. So the end of organized human society by around 2029 or 2045. So sometime in that time frame, that 15 or 16 year window. Though I repeat, abrupt climate change is just one compounding factor in extinction catastrophe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd say he's pretty right on. I mean, given what's happening at 1.5. So am I only nobody else hearing this interference? Am I only hearing the interference? That's so weird. So you guys, nobody's hearing the interference? That's frustrating because I hear the interference. If you don't hear it, that's interesting because you guys hear crackles and I can't hear the crackles, but you guys don't hear the interference, but I can hear the interference. Okay. Anyways. It's just annoying to me. It's just it's like crackling in my headphones, and so it's really disturbing. What I was saying was, he's right. 2C is about, if what is happening right now at 1.5 is happening, I mean, by the time we get to 2C, there's going to be no way to keep, there's going to be so many, the weather is just going to be so wild that it's going to be hard to keep things going in the ways that we know it. And the main thing is food. Anyways, 2C of global warming must be anticipated by 2032 or 2052, from 2032 to 2052, 3.5 or 4C by 2050, 2200 to 2200. Okay. Given past and future GHG emissions, aerosols, and tipping elements. 5 or 6 years to get to net zero for 1.5C. What? That's not, dude, it's over. It's done. Obviously, the economy can't and won't do that. That's done. 1.5C is done. There is no carbon budget because we're already there. It's done. it's over. 2C is over. Probably 3C is over. If I'm being really I know that sounds pessimistic, but physics say that's where, that's kind of where we're at. All right. Thanks for letting me know, guys. Anyways. Somebody says, Ben, we already hit 2C. Check out Andrew Y. Glickson, Leon Simons, Guy McPherson. Is Leon Simons, really? Guy McPherson. Somebody says, I honestly believe you're being too optimistic. Yeah. I mean, it's an unfortunate bit of events here, guys. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people are living in a dreamscape. Because things are still normal, somewhat normal. And until people actually understand what's happening and are reacting to things that are actually happening, I mean, there's just absolutely no chance that something can be done. If a majority of people think that, are planning for a, 10, 20 years from now, and planning on things being relatively the same. Steve Austin says, I think a whole lot about the mental contortions required to think that this could be our future, let alone that it will be. These contortions are required simply because the mind cannot imagine less energy in the future. Right. Look at this timeline. They're assuming that, we're going to get all this energy from renewable energy, solar, wind, nuclear, hydro, natural gas, but we won't be using coal or oil in the year 2100. We won't be using it, but look at all this energy we're going to be producing. That is incredibly optimistic. There's also another way this goes, and it actually aligns with a lot of the like limits to growth graphs, which is like you go up and then you go, psh, everything goes down, boom, straight line down off the cliff. Is anybody on Rockin? Hello, Rockin people. Somebody say hello or something. I see some people are watching, but nary a chat. Nary a chat on Rockin. If you're on Twitter, give me a response. Give me a, hey, what's up? I'm watching the show. It helps. I think it helps. I think it helps the algorithms and whatnot. Let's see. One more on this. Well, I have a follow-up post on this from Chris Martinson. For a 90% chance of keeping below 2C, emissions would have to hit net zero in about 2035. He says, stop laughing. This is Steve Austin. Carbon emissions budget is now tiny, scientists say. I said we need to hit net zero in the year 2000, but no response from Steve Austin on that. I'm sure he knows that. Yeah, you're right. Steph C. Acapulco has still not had much coverage. I did see Jeff McFarland says, so there's a chance. Right. I mean, it's unfortunate that we're gonna kind of sleepwalk into this a terrible situation. Man, is this channel depressing? It's depressing because it's kind of looking at the truth, but sorry to say. However, I was just speaking about speaking things into existence, right? So I don't know, guys. You think we can pull out of this if we keep it positive? You got to keep the plate spinning. You got to keep, life going. Got to keep food on the table. Okay, this footage from Acapulco is insane. I mean, just wiped out. Just incredibly gone. Look at that. All right, so I have heard a few of the alternative news channels address Acapulco from the same source, Steve Berwick at Dollar Vigilante. He was on Grand Theft World recently. So a couple of thoughts on Steve Berwick and what he was saying about Acapulco. First of all, kudos. Like, he's there leading a recovery operation, trying to bring food and supplies and stuff to people there who who would otherwise probably starve or just, really have a hard time, He's trying to avert, I guess, like a humanitarian catastrophe going on in Acapulco, which I think is really awesome. So on that level, I really appreciate Jeff Berwick, and or is it Jeff Berwick or Steve Berwick? Jeff Berwick. I really appreciate Jeff Berwick. For doing that, and for bringing people supplies and for helping people out. I really think that's great. Here's the issue. The problem is that there's a lack of understanding of what is actually causing this. Right? They are on this thing about it's controlled weather. It's a weather warfare. They sent this hurricane in to hit Acapulco. I heard it was on a list of 15-minute cities. Oh, well, they're all going to be 15-minute cities, my friends. So maybe not. Okay, I don't have any conclusion. You can't just say stuff like that unless you have conclusive evidence. I just don't see it. If you have something conclusive, some hardcore something to back it up. I mean, I'm totally open to theories. The problem is that in this circle of alternative media, there's just like zero understanding of what's going on with climate, and there's an absolute disdain and I'm going to say delusion around climate change and what's going on. Like, people are completely lost, and to the detriment of the viewers of these channels. I'm not, I'm trying to urge these channels to do better for their viewers' sake. Because these are channels that I watch, and they mostly do a lot of good work. But when it comes to climate change, they're so god awful that, like, I try to call it out where I see it. So it's unfortunate. So Jeff Berwick is doing really great work there, as far as helping people out. That's great. But if you understood what caused, he was talking about all the other storms that had hit the area prior, and he's like, this is just uncanny and amazing, and like, this never happens, and like, what are they doing? It's like, dude, you understand that there's an El Nino, that we have an energy imbalance in the system. There's a whole bunch of science behind what's causing all of these storms, and if you just would educate yourself, then you might be a little more aware. But you have to like push these things out of your brain, or out of the realm of thinking about it, because it doesn't align with your ideological silo. And that's unfortunate. Like, that's just not really a smart thing to do. Anyway, so he's helping people out. This is great. I hope that he continues the effort. In fact, he has like GoFundMe a page for it. And if you are interested in helping his operations out that are helping get people like food and water and resources there, so that they can like make it through this catastrophe, then like by all means help them out. I think it's Dollar Vigilante is I don't know what the website. I think the website is actually something Hurricane Otis Recovery or something like that. But here's the thing. Here's what if they understood that this was a climate change caused catastrophe, and that this is just going to keep happening, and that it's the actual it's the industry that fed this city that caused the climate change, caused the city to get wrecked, then then you wouldn't like encourage a full-on recovery of the town as you knew it, right? I don't know. It's a hard one to do. It's a hard one to think about. As Jordan Peterson once said, I don't see how we even address climate change. It's happening. He knows that's going down. And now he switched over to like full-on denialism. But at one point he could see what was going down, and he could see the reality of the fact that we were not going to respond to it correctly. Reed Timmer, North South says Reed Timmer broke it down good. Don't know that I know who Reed Timmer is. I don't know. anyways, so it's great that he's leading a response. It's great that he's leading, he's helping people out. I think that's great. I think in the face of like the future of where we're headed with climate change, I think like talking about recovery for Acapulco is absolutely insane. So good, help the people out, help them out of immediate distress. But if you understood what the future was going to look like, or understood the future clearly, then you would understand that like you would have to help people move into another realm of living, like rethink their the response has to be to rethink how we actually organize ourselves on this planet, and not like we're just going to rebuild Acapulco and it's going to be awesome and we'll be back up and running in like 2 years, which is like or in a year. That's just what he's saying, which is that's insane, right? Helping people out, good job. Saying that we're going to rebuild Acapulco in like a year or two is absolutely mind-bogglingly dumb, because you may do that and then it's going to get destroyed again. And then you're going to go, oh, that was dumb. So it's good to understand all the issues, all the things that are going on there. So what's going on there is a climate disaster, is a an extreme weather event, that followed multiple extreme weather events, that's being caused by the fact that the Earth's energy imbalance is completely off the charts, out of whack, that we are entering a time of rapid intensification of climate change, that we're entering a super El Nino, that there's going to be a lot of heat pouring out of the oceans, causing more weather disaster. What are we seeing all over the planet? Weather disaster after weather disaster after weather disaster. So you can go, well, they caused this storm. It was a really odd storm that rapidly intensified and like took out Acapulco because it was going to be a 15-minute city. Great. If you're talking about one storm, that could make sense, but you're actually not including all the other catastrophic major weather events that are happening all over the planet, that have been happening for all year and for several years, and that are off the charts, out of the norm. And when you take all of that information in, then you get a clearer picture. But just talking about one storm is not a clear picture. So, it's unfortunate that this whole like group of alternative journalists are completely like resistant to understanding what's actually happening on the planet, because if they were, then they could probably help their viewers out a little bit in understanding the future. And we do have multiple crises happening on the planet, right? There are multiple things threatening the future of people on the planet, and it's good to know about all those things, right? I knew I was not going to make it through a lot of the things I wanted to talk about today, so I think I'm going to hit you with well, for context, I'm going to hit you with all the footage of all the flooding and all the major storms going on the planet for the last like day or two. And I'm probably not even getting all of them, because right, we're actually entering like climate Armageddon, because it's kind of what it's looking like. Iguazu Falls in Argentina has been closed to a significant rise in the Iguazu River. It's an amazing amount of water coming through there. Severe flood due to heavy rainfall in Kuriyat, Oman. This is in Oman. That's in Oman. This is in Milan. There's a monster storm heading towards Europe. This is context. This is the context you need before you call a hurricane manufactured. You need to have all the context of what's happening like all over the globe, right? And when you take all that context in, then you could actually go like, well, maybe that's a little impossible to generate this much energy, this much of a disturbance on the planet. I could be wrong. If somebody has any like concrete information and data for me, and not just a supposing. If you have like concrete information and data for me, then let me know. A monster 950 millibar storm Ciaran is heading for Europe with a landfall near the English Channel Wednesday, Thursday. This storm is powered by a buckling, wicked 200 millibar jet stream aloft. From Peter Dines. Oh, didn't get the whole. Sometimes don't get the whole URL. I missed the H. Storm Ciaran looks to be another climate monster in the making. Southern England and northern France may see conditions never witnessed before. We are entering a new era of storms. Increasing the energy in the system is only going to make things much worse. They hate Europe. They made this big storm because they hate Europe. Okay. They hate Mexico. they hate Oman. They hate them all. They're just making these big storms. They hate China. They're just making these big storms. They hate them. Okay. You know, some of those storms have hit the U.S. too. Well, they hate us too. They hate us. I don't know. Oh, we got some. We have some commentary on Rockin. How you doing, Brenda? Okay. Hey. All right. Thanks for filling up the chats on Rockin, Brenda. Thank you. We're almost. I'm going to close it out pretty soon. This is actually flooding from Ireland. So this is, I guess, the results, the pre or the post or the during of the storm. Where the climate crisis is where the roads turn into rivers. Ireland is currently getting a major wake-up call. These are roads in Newry County down. A warmer world is a world of droughts and flood. And it continues. I'm going to try and get most of these flooding videos out of the way today. Heavy flood due to extreme rainfall in Qatar. Heavy flood on the street due to extreme rains in Brazil. Wow, what's going on? This is like in the last 2 days, guys. Oh, this is from 10/27, so this is a few days ago. Yeah, last few days. This is in Brazil. Oh, I meant to bring this. I'll bring it tomorrow. I gotta wrap up the show, guys. Thanks for hanging out today. Tomorrow I should be here. I don't even know if the regular time is 12 anymore. I'm not really sure about that. I might have to think on. I like to have a regular set time, so it makes it easier for people to tune in. But I should be here at noon tomorrow. Should be. But we'll say noon Pacific Daylight tomorrow. And thanks for everybody for watching along at home. If you want to support the show, these are good ways to support the show. buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews. Cash App, Red Llama Music. Venmo at Kevin Sandbloom. PayPal.me/Kevin Sandbloom. Zelle, Kevin Sandbloom at protonmail.com. These are good ways to support the show, and I thank you. See you tomorrow. Until next time, peace.